Hey friends, what is going on? Hopefully you can hear me. I'm trying out a new tool today. I've used it once, but it's been a while, so let me know if you can hear me coming through good. And I'm just going to share this to the group. Just give me 1 second. Hopefully that worked. Awesome. So thanks for joining me today, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 hacks for saving time on Instagram, because that is what I am all about. That is what Socialize Your Biz is all about, is saving you time. Whether I'm giving you tips and advice on how to save yourself time, or I'm handling your social media for you, it's all about giving you your time back so you can spend that time on other things like running your business, which is, I'm sure, what you're wanting to do anyways. So I'm going to run through 10 tips, and of course, if you have any questions, let me know. And I'm sure there are many more tips than 10 to save time on Instagram. So definitely share your tips as well in the comments. We would love to hear what they are and give them a try as well. So let's dive right in. The first tip that I have for you is using presets to edit your Instagram photos. So if you want to gain followers and build your brand on Instagram, the first thing that you should really start to think about, other than just posting, is to make sure that you have a consistent look and feel across your entire feed. So whether this is using a similar type of image or a similar color scheme, you really want to do your best to try and keep everything looking consistent. So one of the ways you can do that is to use an editing app to create a consistent look across all of your photos. So you don't have to be, a Photoshop wizard or anything like that to make this happen. It's really quite simple. There's a couple of apps that I'm going to share with you. And throughout all of these tips that I'm going to give you today, I'm going to give you some of the tools that I use. I don't have any affiliate links for you or anything. I'm not trying to make money off you by sharing these tips. Simply, these are the tools that I use or that I know work well for other people as well. So feel free to check them out. I'm sure that you would love them. So when you're editing your photos, some really simple apps to use. Oftentimes, I keep it really simple. I dump my photo into either PicMonkey or Canva, and I use a preset in there. I know Visco is really popular. If you've never heard of that, it's VSCO. And they've got a bunch of presets in there. You can just choose one and stick with it through your entire feed. And there's a few others that I haven't tried, but I know are really popular. Color Story is one, and Adobe Lightroom has also a bunch of presets that are really popular. So choose your signature color, your signature look, and try to stick with that throughout your entire feed. It really does make a difference. A lot of people focus on just the one individual post on Instagram, but a lot of times people use social media more than they use your website, right? They want to go and see the overall vision of what you've got going on. So they will go to your feed and take a look at what the whole thing looks like. And that is your first impression of your brand or your business. So you want to make it look beautiful, not just a bunch of random photos dropped in there, right? So definitely try that out. If you want to see some examples, head over to the Planoly Instagram page or Later Instagram page. They do a really good job of keeping things really consistent. So you can check those out. So the next thing that you want to do when you're planning out your Instagram feed is to use a visual planner to set up your grid. And this, of course, goes hand in hand with what I was just talking about, making sure that your grid has a consistent look and feel. And so one of the ways to do that, and so that it doesn't start looking cluttered, is to make sure that you've got, you're alternating a photo that has some space in it, like a quote or something with a lot of white space, with something that's a little bit busier, or alternating with something that is up closer and something that is farther away. And that creates space between the photos. So that's something else that's really great to try. And you really don't know for sure if your photos are doing that and creating that space unless you're using a visual planner. Now, you of course could throw all these photos on your desktop and try and line them all up and everything, but it's a lot easier to use a tool. It's a lot quicker to use a tool. You can do this within Planoly. You can do this within Later, and I believe Buffer has started doing this too. I don't use them for Instagram, so I'm not certain, but you could check that out, and they're a very cost-effective choice as well. So when you use a tool, it's actually really simple because you can just dump all of your photos into the tool, and then you can just move them around until you like the way the grid looks, and you have that space between the photos so you don't have that cluttered look. So use a visual planner. It really helps you out a lot. Number 3 would be to schedule your posts to automatically publish to your feed. Now, obviously, this is going to save you time because you're not going to have to be waiting for the push notification and stopping what you're doing and making sure that you're posting and getting everything in there, all your hashtags, and making sure that you're posting at your best time. I know when I am waiting for a push alert, sometimes I miss the alert, and now I have to post at a time that is not optimal for me. So when it comes to auto publishing, a couple things. You do have to have a business account. So if you have not changed your Instagram to a business account, I do recommend that you try doing that and see if that works for you. There was a lot of talk at the beginning that, business accounts, the same thing might happen with business accounts that has happened with Facebook, where you don't get as much reach. So far, that's not completely the case. It's still doing okay. So it's worth it for all of the extra tools that you get with a business account. And being able to auto-publish is one of those benefits. So give it a try. And like I said, one of the benefits of doing this is being able to post at your best time. So there's a couple of ways that you can find out when your best time is. Of course, using your analytics to check that out is one of the best ways to do that. But if you want to cheat a little bit, Later automatically calculates your best times to post. So if you're using the tool Later, there's a little button in there that says calculate best times to post. And every so often, it allows you to press it again and recalculate your times if you want to make sure that those are still the best times for you to post. There's also some apps that you can use. And there is one that I use in particular. What was it called? I think it's just called Best Time to Post. I'm just trying to find it on my phone that has a million apps open. I can show you what it looks like if I can find it. Yeah, When to Post, it's called. I don't know if you can see this right there, When to Post. And you can just throw in your Instagram handle and it'll show you all the best times to post. So that's a great app to use as well if you're not using those other tools or are not sure how to check into your analytics. Another great way to save time on Instagram is to write a week or a month's worth of captions all at once. And I call this batching. And if you just sit down, when you're having a creative flow and just create all of your content in one go, you're never going to come to that point where it's time to post, you've got the alert, and you're drawing a blank and you don't know what you should be talking about or what's relevant or, all of these things. So if you batch your content, you're never going to be scrambling. You're never going to be having this stress, wondering, what should I write? And you end up with this little 2-word, caption, which is cool sometimes, but not all the time. So the other thing about batching your content is you can really have a look at, the 80-20 rule. And the 80-20 rule is, you have 80% entertainment and you have 20% sales posts. Because nobody comes to social media to be sold, right? They will buy, but not if you're hammering sales on them all the time. They're going to get tired of watching your posts, right? So you want to make sure you have that balance. And it's a lot easier to control that and keep an eye on what you're doing when you batch all of your content at once. So try it out. Trust me, I know you will love it. It really takes the pressure off when it's time to post. So give that a shot. The other thing is when you batch your content and you create exceptional content that people are interested in, it's going to help you get a lot more engagement because people are a lot more interested in what it is you have to say. When you're taking the time to create these relevant posts. And when you get engagement on your posts, that is going to help you in the algorithm. So obviously it's very beneficial to take the time to have a look at batching your content. I think you'd like it. Number 5 is using templates to design your Instagram stories. And this is a really great one because, if you're wanting to create beautiful Instagram stories, if you're doing it from scratch, it can be a lot of work. It can be really tedious and time consuming. But if you use templates, you're really just dropping in a photo and dropping in whatever words you want to add to that. And it's already laid out beautifully for you. And it helps you keep a really consistent feel throughout all of your stories because like I said, it's a template, so nothing's going to change unless you move it around and change it. So there's a couple of places that you can get some really cool templates. One of them is Canva, which, you're going to hear me say a lot. Canva is a good one. Try out PicMonkey. That's also a really good one. They've got some pretty cool templates. Some of my other favorites are Unfold and Mojo. Mojo is so cool. My daughter, for any of you who know my daughter, Talia Bree, she always introduced me to the coolest apps, and she found this one and showed me. It has everything you could possibly need. Now, you do need to make a purchase to unlock everything, but in my opinion, this app is worth it because it has, like I said, absolutely everything you can need. They move. They have movement to them. They're video. So it's not all static stories, which is really cool. A quick tip for you while we're on the topic of stories, if you're wondering, what you should be throwing up in your stories or how many stories you should have in a day, according to some statistics and some studies that have been done on some different platforms that I've read about, the best amount of stories to have during your day is anywhere from 3 to 7. Once you get beyond that, people are often going to start opting out. Now, that really depends on who you are and what kind of stories you're posting. If your stories are really cool and interesting and people aren't exiting your story and you can see that they're watching all the way through, then, forget that. Keep doing what you're doing. It's obviously working. But if you notice that people have quit watching your stories halfway through, then obviously you're posting something that is not super interesting to your fans, and you need to pay attention to that. Another thing to think about is stories are called stories for a reason. So unless you're posting something that's, just like a quote or something like that. If you're at an event or if you're posting, maybe something that's a little bit salesy or related to a blog post, create a couple in a row that really do actually tell a story. That's why they're called stories, right? Have a definite beginning, middle, and end, just like any story. And that can help you out. People will, if they know there's something coming at the end that they want, they'll hang around and check out what that is. So try that out as well. Hopefully that helps you. Number 6 is to schedule your Instagram stories. Just like you schedule your Instagram posts, scheduling your Instagram stories works great as well. You can do this on Planoly and you can do this on Later. And like I said, then you can set it and forget it. You're not watching for alerts. And what I would suggest is when you do schedule your stories, rather than scheduling an entire day's worth of stories all at one time, spread it out during the day, because what happens is when you post a brand new story, it moves your little circle at the top of the screen back to the beginning of the queue again. So if you're spreading out your stories, then you're constantly being moved back to the beginning of the queue and getting watched, which is what you want. So consider that when you're scheduling your stories or posting them, whatever it is that you do, that can help you get noticed. Number 7 would be to collect and save your best hashtags. Now, there's a statistic that says when you use hashtags, you get 12.6 more engagement than posts without. Now, that doesn't sound maybe like a lot to you, but Instagram says that about 10% of your audience is actually seeing your posts. So if you want to extend that 10%, a good way to do that is to use hashtags. Hashtags are also a great way to get discovered. When people are searching up a particular hashtag on a particular topic, it helps people find you. So make sure that you're using hashtags and mix it up. Use hashtags, some that are relevant, like super relevant to what you're doing, some that have super high amount of usage, like Insta good or feel good or things like that are really commonly used, and then use something that has less views, less uses, and that will help you stay more targeted. So when you find the hashtags that are relevant to you and that work for your brand and your business, you want to save them. And there's a couple of ways that you can do that. You can throw them in your notes, which makes it really easy to go back to your notes, and you copy and you paste them into your post. If you want to use a tool that keeps it even more simple for you, again, Planoly and Later both enable you to save your hashtags. So you can just really easily click the button for the saved hashtags and they will pop up and drop into your post. Another cool tool that Later has that I love is a hashtag generator. So, sometimes when you want to find relevant hashtags, you have to sit down and you have to do some hashtag research. So what is that? Well, that's sitting down and taking the time to go through posts of people who are your competitors or are in the same space as you, checking out what hashtags they're using, and then taking that hashtag and putting it up in the search bar and seeing what else comes up when you type it in. It could be a little bit tedious. It takes a little bit of time. You want to be writing them out as you go so that you don't forget and you put them into your notes. But when you use, it's still a good idea to do that every once in a while, mind you. So, don't throw that away. But when you use a tool like Later, you can use their hashtag generator. You just type in your hashtag up in the search generator box, and it'll generate a whole bunch of relevant hashtags for you. And it even gives you the percentage of how relevant they are to the hashtag that you typed in. So if you're not using Later yet, I think I'm, really letting you know that it's a good tool to use. So give that a shot. And number 8 would be to set up quick replies to comment to your DMs. Now, this is a feature that I just recently found hidden away in Instagram, and I can't tell you how excited I am about it. So I'm going to show you exactly what it is. Hopefully my phone, I don't know if that's backwards for you. I think it's forward. So I'm going to show you this. So sometimes you'll notice that in your DMs, you're getting the same questions or comments over and over and over again, and you're having to rewrite the same responses over and over and over again. Now, if you're a VA or a social media manager watching this, you know that when you've got multiple clients and you've got multiple, templated responses that you have to use over and over again, you might keep them in your notes like I do, but when you have so many, you have a lot of notes to scroll through to get to that templated response, and it's just kind of annoying. So this is such a cool tool. You have to have a business account to do this. So you're going to click on the 3 little lines at the top. Once you're in there, you're going to click on your settings at the bottom here. And once you're in your settings, you're going to click where it says business. Do you see business right there? Click on that. And then you can see at the bottom there, it says quick replies. Okay, so you click on quick replies, and it shows you now that you can respond instantly with your quick replies to people who are sending you a DM. So you can see here, it gives you a shortcut, and then it gives you a message. So the shortcut is a word that you would type in that pulls up your quick reply. So let's say somebody wants to make reservations at your salon or your restaurant. You could type in the word reservation. And then you type in the message that you want to give people, and you could thank people for their interest and give them, here's how you make a reservation, give them the details. Now, every time you get a DM asking you that question, you're just going to type in reservation, and it'll pop up a little blue icon, and you can tap it, and it pulls up the entire message, and you don't have to type the whole thing in or search for it in your notes. It is so cool. So if you are not utilizing this, this is one of the tools that you are going to absolutely love about your business account. And I suggest you give it a try because it's really cool. I love it, and it'll save you some time. So set up those quick replies. That's going to help save you a lot of time as well. Now, number 9, if you're not a business, would be to switch to an Instagram creator account. Now, rumor has it that this is in trial period. So, whether it sticks around or not, I'm not sure, but I have a pretty good feeling that it will. My daughter recently just shifted to this, and she absolutely loves it. You have to have a certain amount of followers in order to be able to switch to a creator account. I believe it's 10,000 followers. And it gives you all kinds of additional analytics. And when it comes to your DMs, it allows you to set up a screening process for who it is who can reach out to you and contact you. And you can set up, in priority what shows up first. So it's got some really cool filtering options that will help save time for you, prioritize messages. And so if you're maybe not a business, maybe you're a brand and you have 10,000 followers or more, maybe give this a shot. It might be worth it. Now, a creator account, you at this time, I understand, cannot auto post to it. You still have to get the alert and post that way, but it still might be worth it for you. Give it a shot and see what you think. And then my number 10 tip would be to schedule to multiple accounts all at once. And again, if you are using a tool such as Later, Planoly, or Buffer, something like that, you can take your caption and select multiple accounts and set it up all at once, and it'll post out to all of those accounts at once. If you are getting the alert and it's coming to your phone, you can also cross post to different accounts that way as well. So let's say you have a brand and a business page and you want the same post to go to both pages. You can cross post and put them on both pages at once, or post also to Facebook. So keep that in mind. That might save you some time as well. So those are my 10 hacks for saving time on Instagram. Let me know which one you liked the most and which one you plan to implement. And like I said earlier, if you have any extra tips that you would like to add, please let me know. I would love to hear what they are so that we can try them out as well. So thanks for joining me, guys. I appreciate your time, and we will catch you again soon. Bye.